Legend. Wait for it, Daryl.
Hey guys, it's me, Legend. Wait for it, Daryl. And today we are back with another fun and exciting episode of the top 10 interesting things you may not know. That doesn't mean they're going to be good. That doesn't mean they're just going to be bad. That means they're going to be interesting facts, trivia details that you may not know. What's the theme today? It's about family. It's about cars. It's not about the Fast and the Furious franchise, although maybe one day if you're all really good and the views and subs are up, I may do that. No. Today, we're going to talk about one of the most underappreciated seasons of all of Power Rangers history. That's right, Power Rangers Turbo! So get ready to toss your salads, kids, because we're going into the top 10 interesting things you may not know about this season. Pretend there was another 5 on that side. Yeah, top 10 interesting things. Here we go. 10. Let's get the most obvious thing out of the way first, and that is, of course, that Power Rangers Turbo is the first and so far only Power Ranger series to have a feature film entered into the canon. That's right, the 1994 Mighty Morphin Power Rangers film is super non-canon. The Lionsgate film that showed up and premiered in 2017 is its own thing in its own universe, so of course, non-canon. I know that Netflix does promote Clash of the Red Rangers as a film, but it did have its own episodes premiere on Nickelodeon, and it isn't really a feature film that was in theaters, no. Turbo, a Power Rangers movie, is in fact what is the opening, the prelude, the origin story of the Turbo Ranger powers, and is the only film in Power Rangers history to lead directly into its own season. So I wanted to talk about that first, get that out of the way. Turbo, a Power Rangers movie, leads into Power Rangers Turbo, the 5th season of Power Rangers, and I'm bringing it up now so we never have to talk about it ever again. It's a fun fact though. 9! And let's get the other obvious thing out of the way, and that is of course our little true blue to the rescue himself, Justin Stewart, who was played by Blake Foster. If you guys didn't know, Justin Stewart to this day has been the only child character and actor to have been featured in any Power Ranger series that was also a Power Ranger themselves. This has not been repeated since. I am not counting robot characters who are technically only like 1 or 2, 3 years old, like Mac from Power Rangers Operation Overdrive. No, Justin is a full human-fledged character who was the Blue Ranger who didn't need a license to drive a Zord. So I'm mentioning that now because it's never been repeated. I'm kind of shocked given all the history we have about Power Rangers and all the risks that we have seen them willing to take going forward into the series. However, I mention that now. Justin would go along and return, of course, in Power Rangers in Space though. So, yeah, but he was a full-fledged Ranger in this series. 8. So here's something that people overlook when talking about this season, or people just don't notice. This is the first season to not feature a combining Megazord combination or an Ultrazord combination. What do I mean by that? Well, do you guys remember when the Dragon Zord would combine with the Mighty Morphin Megazord? Do you guys remember when the Falcon Zord would combine with the Shogun Zord to create the Mega Falcon Zord? Do you guys remember when the Zeo Battle Zord would combine with the Zeo Megazord? And then of course we'd have the whole little Pyramidas combination. That's right, there is no such Megazord combinations featured at all in this season. It's very different and original, and it's unique because no attention is brought onto it. The Blue Sartarian Zord doesn't even combine with the other Rangers Megazords, which is also a first. That 6 Rangers Megazord doesn't have any form of Zord combination with the main teams. I call Blue Sartarian a 6th Ranger. He's actually a supporting character. But anyways, I wanted to bring that up because no one ever talks about it. I consider that an interesting fact. Yay! 7. Interesting fact for all you Super Sentai fans or Tokusatsu fans who actually did watch Car Ranger. Do you know that Power Rangers Turbo is the only Power Rangers series thus far to actually take the commercial bumpers. That's right, you know the little commercial where the cars go neener 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 nee. That was actually from the Super Sentai series, which would be featured in Power Rangers Turbo. From what I understand, Netflix took out those bumpers. I think YouTube brought the bumpers back though, which is cool. I liked it. I didn't know what was the big deal going on with it. I thought it was really funny and cool though, and I didn't realize they were a part of the Sentai until I actually started watching Power Rangers myself. Power Rangers is actually one of my favorite Super Sentais, by the way. It's so different and also yet fun. Still, fun fact that the Super Sentai bumpers from Power Ranger are featured in Power Rangers Turbo.
6.
Speaking of course about Power Ranger, if you guys didn't know, the reason how come there is such a kind of weird disjointness when you're watching Power Rangers Turbo, and how come the scenes feel a little bit more out of place with the monsters being a little bit more animated, or they're just action scenes not really fitting the tone of the show, that's because Power Ranger is actually not an action series. It's more of a comedy parody of what Super Sentai was supposed to be. After O-Ranger had really weird ratings, the writers actually took it upon themselves to make Power Ranger a much more fun and campy Super Sentai series. The Power Rangers writers, however, didn't know about any of this and decided to keep it still an action-adventure type show. So that is why there is such a distinct difference when watching both series, not just because of the foreign nature of both Super Sentai versus Power Rangers, but because the writing styles were completely different. It would be like trying to write a it would be like trying to write a Star Wars show or a Star Wars movie with using all the concepts of just Star Trek. They're very different things despite being tremendously similar. And I wanted to bring that up because people are often confused by it and don't know why, and I'm telling you guys why. Because that is an interesting fact that you guys should know.
5.
So here is an interesting fact going into Power Rangers Turbo. It actually features one of the villains. This is the very first season to not feature Rita Repulsa at all. Rita was, of course, featured at least a few times in going from the Day of the Dumpster, the very first episode of Mighty Morphin Power Rangers, all the way through Zeo, which of course she was in the final episode of Power Rangers Zeo. She's not featured at all in Power Rangers Turbo, however she would make a reappearance the following season, of course, in Power Rangers in Space. And her final appearance would be in Countdown to Destruction, the final episode of Power Rangers in Space. She did have a cameo though with Lord Zed in Turbo, a Power Rangers movie. And fun fact about Zed, he was actually played by the prop master, Mark Richardson. If you guys didn't know Mark Richardson, I have featured him before on this channel. But yeah, Rita would make no appearance at all, which is weird because she kind of has like a love-hate relationship with Divatox, and I'm kind of sad that wasn't touched a lot more until Power Rangers Space anyways. So, we love you, Empress Rita, and I hope you're doing fine doing your Mystic Mother stuff. Yay.
4.
And of course, one of the biggest, most interesting facts, of course, this is the second season to feature a cast shakeup, which of course, if you guys don't remember, in Mighty Morphin Power Rangers, the power transfer, Rocky, Adam, and Aisha were introduced to change up and switch with the actors for Jason, Trini, and Zach in the power transfer episode to introduce those characters because those actors had left the show. Something extremely similar happened in the Turbo episodes, a two-parter as well, by the way. Passing of the Torch, which would take out Tommy, Tanya, Kat, and Adam and switch them out with TJ, Ashley, Carlos, and Cassie. Cassie's my favorite female Power Ranger of all time, by the way. And introduce them halfway through the season. This was because both Jason David Frank and Kathleen Sutherland were only contracted for the first 19 to 20 episodes of Power Rangers Turbo and wanted to leave the show for future projects. This is well known. However, it's not touched upon that this would be a huge power transfer thing that would never be repeated going forward into a Power Rangers shows. And I wanted to bring that up and mention it now, going into the future for Power Rangers stuff. It's an interesting fact, and it was so interesting I kind of stumbled on my words a little bit there, but I'm not perfect, guys. I'm not perfect like Power Rangers, but I'm letting you know that now.
3,
And while I have mentioned that this is the first season to not feature Rita Repulsa, who had been in Power Rangers since the very beginning, this is also, of course, the final season to feature Ernie, the owner of the Integral Juice Bar, in any capacity going forward. Ernie had been the supporting character for the longest time. There were a number of rumors going on with this character that he was actually going to be Zordon in disguise, or that he simply knew the Rangers' identities and was there to offer emotional or guidance for them as an adult character. None of that really came into fruition, and Ernie's final appearance going forward would actually be a small cameo for the final scenes in Turbo, a Power Rangers movie. Ernie was probably one of the best supporting characters in Power Rangers history, period, and he would have an homage to his character with a new Ernie character introduced in Power Rangers Megaforce. Still, I wanted to mention and bring it up to you guys now, going forward, because that is, of course, a really big, interesting fact.
2,
And next, a fact so incredible, so amazing, that my camera died halfway through filming this incredible fact, and that is, this is the season to feature none of the original Mighty Morphin Power Rangers featured since the first episode. It's also the first season not to feature Billy Cranston in any capacity. That is, of course, because David Yost did depart from the series and would not return to this date. However, it is heavily rumored that he was going to be responsible for the creation of the Turbo Powers, and such a fact is alluded to in Power Rangers Zeo. However, he didn't return, so we never got official confirmation from that. And I'm not counting the comics or any fan ideas, because those are not canon to the television series. Still, it is a fantastic and amazing fact.
1,
And last but not least, the most interesting fact to me, the most surprising thing that a lot of people overlook when you're talking about Power Rangers Turbo is, of course, that it would be the final season up until Power Rangers Samurai, that's right, you guessed it, would be the final season to use the phrase, "It's morphin' time," for any morphing sequence whatsoever. That's right, it wasn't even technically used in Power Rangers Turbo at all. Instead, Kat was the final person to use that phrase before she morphed, falling from the waterfall in Turbo, a Power Rangers movie. Power Rangers Samurai would start using it over again, but the main morphing sequence was, of course, shift into Turbo. In Space would use Let's Rock It, Lost Galaxy would use Go Galactic, so on and so forth. It wouldn't be until Power Rangers Wild Force that we actually hear Jason use the phrase, "It's morphin' time," same with Tommy with the Zeo powers. But this would be the final season to use it as a full-fledged morphing call for that team. And I wanted to mention it because I don't think it's brought up enough, and I think it's sad that there wasn't even a lot of attention brought to it. So yeah, there you go. That is probably the coolest, most interesting fact to me when coming to Power Rangers Turbo. And there you have it, guys. Those are the top 10 interesting facts to me when discussing Power Rangers Turbo. Did you like Power Rangers Turbo? Did you think it was as underappreciated as I did? Did you absolutely hate and despise the season? Did you guys ever hear about that time TJ got big into that giant pizza? All important questions that I would like to know in the comments below. Also, feel free to like, share, and subscribe, and bother me on all my forms of social media, which is of course included in the link. Follow me on Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok, those are the social media platforms that I'm on almost all the time. I hope you guys are having a great and fantastic day. As always, more content is always coming to the channel. I would be nothing without you guys. more top 10 interesting episodes, of course, are coming, of course. I've said, of course, a lot. I'm sorry. It's one of those days, guys. But I appreciate you for putting up with me and my wonkiness. Please have a great and fantastic day. Make sure to watch all the Power Ranger goodness you can on Netflix or YouTube. It's free on YouTube if you didn't know that. You guys have a great and fantastic day. And stay classy.